Happy Labor Day weekend. We're going to get right into it. Genesis chapter 13. Let's go. So Abraham went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and Abram was exceedingly rich in silver and in gold, and he journeyed to a place where his tent had been, where he had built an altar at first, and called on the Lord. Lot, who went with Abraham, also had flocks, and now the land was not able to support them both, for their possessions were too great for them to live together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abraham's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle. So Abraham said to Lot, "Let there be no strife. Separate yourself from me. If you take the left hand, I will go to the right. Or if you choose the right hand, I will go to the left." Then Lot chose for himself the Jordan Valley. Abraham dwelt in the land of Canaan. Lot dwelt in the cities and moved his tents as far as Sodom. But the men of Sodom were negative, exceedingly wicked, exceedingly great sinners against the Lord. The Lord said to Abraham, "Lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are. For all what you see, I will give to you. And I will make your descendants like the dust of the earth, so that if a man could count the dust of the earth, then could your descendants also be counted. Arise, walk through the land, for I will give it to you." Then Abraham moved his tent and dwelt among the oaks, which are at Hebron, and built there an altar to the Lord. Bow. So we got some cool stuff. One, we see the fulfillment of God's promise that now he's rich, right? And then we also see that when he made that altar, that was to remind him of the promise God had made. A lot of times we need to do that as far as writing stuff down or making something that helps us remember what God is telling us, and we lock on to that. About to get into something interesting when it says the men of Sodom were wicked, exceedingly great sinners. I want to break down these things because I'm not going to be using the word wicked and the word sin. I'm going to be using the word mistake, and I'm going to be using the word negativity. Sin is meaning you missed the mark. There's been a mistake. Something happened that shouldn't have happened. And there's awareness of this. And then we got wicked, which is like negativity, like negative. And so these are the words that we know of today. So I'm going to help this out. It's a lot of negative energy, and we're making great mistakes. And so there we go. I know the word wicked and evil and all this stuff. Like we have distanced ourselves so far from those words that we don't even know, they don't even help us, because we won't even identify with neither one, you know? So we all know we make mistakes, and we all know we can be a little negative. Now just magnify that for this. Giving another promise now to Abraham, saying that he's going to have a lot of descendants, one, and that they're going to be like the dust of the earth, so many. And then he's also made another promise to give him more land. But I want you to take note that he is in Canaan, and Canaan is the offspring of, as we've seen, the ones that were connected to Egypt, the ones that were connected to Cush.